Hey, good to see you again. The factory sent over the parts that were looking good on the rig. They're being fitted as we speak. Have a look at the report.
What's up guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of my F1 2017 career mode, and we are here for round number 5 for the Spanish Grand Prix. As you can see, first proper performance upgrade of the season applied to the car finally after 5 races, and it's a front wing aero part, so that's going to hopefully help us out around this track, which is definitely very front end aero dependent, so hopefully that will give us a good little helping hand, with also another scheduled rear wing upgrade arriving for the next race in Monaco. Fingers crossed, knock on wood, if nothing goes wrong. But jumping straight into Friday practice, and we scored flawless points on all of the programs here, so very good way to start the weekend. And I believe pretty much these practice programs are smashing them this season in the Williams car, getting purple and absolutely everything. But I will mention, guys, this episode does have proper full qualifying, so you can start giving me stick in the comments, and we finally have the proper qualifying. And speaking of which, we are going to jump into right now, and hopefully we can have a good performance. I did use Power Unit 1 for practice, and then I switched back to Power Unit 2 for qualifying, because I'm trying to get the most out of Power Unit 1, and using that for practice sessions before it gets too old. I might actually use it in Monaco, depending on if it's not too worn. But either way, jumping now into a full 3-part qualifying session for the first time this season, and straight away in Q1 on our first lap we go P5. Eventually though, we would shift down the order down to 8th place, and Massa down there in a lonely P13, so quite a bit faster than my teammate. And I've got to say, the car was working fantastically around here. Really had a good setup on the car. It was nicely hooked up, and overall it came together very nicely for me. And in Q2, as you can see, we opted for the slower medium tyres to hopefully start the race on these. But the question is, are we going to be fast enough on these to actually get through into the final part of qualifying? Because I was taking a risk, and I was going to come in after this lap and basically watch the clock wind down and see if we could survive. So we got up to 3rd place momentarily, but like I said, that's a key word, momentarily, that we would shift down the order, but we scraped through in P10 into Q3. So luckily we just get away with it. Massa gets knocked out in Q2, so quite comfortably outperforming my teammate, and hopefully we can try and now build on this in Q3, obviously after a very encouraging first 2 parts of qualifying. Now in the 3rd part of qualifying we are going to go for 2 runs, and the first one is okay, gets us P4, a very good lap actually. It felt pretty damn comfortable, but then we went for a second attempt, and this was my best lap of the session. So let's see what we do, and hopefully it's better than our first attempt. So straight away now into turn 1, you're spotting the 100-meter board on the left-hand side to brake just after that, and down to 4th gear, want to try and pick up the apex, and a short shift to 5th if you want through turn 2. You sort of sacrifice the corner to open up turn 3, which is just about flat out, maybe a sort of lift if you take a bit of a scruffy line into there. But now into turn number 4, down to 4th gear once again, a short shift into 5th to try and pick up some traction on the exit and try and open up the corner a little bit. And then now into turn 6, downhill left-hander, 3rd gear is critical. You get good traction out of here, use all the curb on the right-hand side to give you a maximum exit speed, and then into the chicane of 7 and 8. Really important that you get a good run through here. Don't lose the back end on exit, because otherwise you will lose a lot of momentum up this hill as we go pretty much flat out through turn 9, open up the DRS. So far it's been a great lap up until this point, as we now brake heavy braking, 100-meter wall down to 3rd gear for the hairpin, a lock up, but I still managed to feed the nose into the apex, and then over a little crest, and then feeding it through into a swooping right-hander here. Very important you get good traction out of here on a short squirt on the throttle into this next tricky right-hander that feeds into the final chicane. Lock up on the left front, but luckily no issues with the line into the corner, and now basically picking up the traction and going flat out through the final corner and open up the DRS and run it to the line. And the question is, where is the lap going to put us? It was a big improvement, half a second to be precise, and we're going to go P6. Wow, okay, so that's a pretty good lap, and definitely one of my better qualifyings of the season. Car felt absolutely fantastic, and really glued to the racetrack around there in that qualifying session. I was definitely happy with that one. Almost a throwback to my Mercedes laps towards the latter end of last season, when I was absolutely nailing the qualifying. But we get a 3rd row alongside Perez, with both Mercedes and both Ferraris in front of us, and overall a very good Q3 session there. But we're now going to jump into Sunday for round number 5 for the Spanish Grand Prix and the race. Right, here we are then on the grid for the Spanish Grand Prix, and we're starting from 6th place on the grid after a very good qualifying, and the car working pretty damn good for me. Overall, managing to hook up a pretty competitive lap time, and cracking into big boy territory, so to speak. So definitely the best qualifying of the season in the dry conditions at least, and considering we did the full part qualifying, that's a bloody good result. So I'm very happy with our performance yesterday, and hopefully we can try and at least match the performance, if not go one step further, and try and crack into the top 5 in the race here today. But in order to do that, it's going to be critical that we get our strategy right. And obviously, we're starting on the medium compound tyres compared to a lot of people who will be starting on the softs around us. And speaking of race strategy, you can see on screen right now, we are going to switch over to the hards and then use softs right at the end. Quite surprised this Williams car can't seem to be able to do a one-stop around here. So unfortunately, we're going to have to still commit to a two-stop and use the hards and softs. But hopefully, especially in that final stint, we should be pretty damn quick. So I'm looking forward to it. We've overfueled by about half a lap. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the race now for round number 5 of the season for the Spanish Grand Prix. Right then, here we go. On the grid, we're going to get ready to the 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go here in Spain, and Perez off to a poor start. I've had a pretty poor start myself, but luckily we've got the jump on the Force India. But then Ocon comes back at us here on the left-hand side. Look at what a start from the Frenchman there as we go into turn 1 for the first time, trying to keep our nose in one piece here and being careful with the grip on these medium tyres. And the Force India's going side by side here. We've got to be very careful not to have a bit of contact with them. I'm having to back out the throttle numerous times here, but the Ferraris lead the way. It's all team by team order right now as Ferraris lead Mercedes, lead Force India. So I've got a Red Bull on my inside here, so I've got to try and leave him in the room. It's Daniel Ricciardo trying to make his way through, so we're going to be under pressure into this brake zone. We've got to try and hold the inside line. Ricciardo looking for the outside, still holding it there, but I'm just going to put my car in front and get ahead of the Australian. So far an okay start. We are on the back foot though when it comes to tyre strategy, so we might struggle for pace in these early couple of laps. Right, so Ocon's got issues with his car, so that's going to help me out quite a lot. And right now we're just trying to stay within a second for DRS, and thanks to Ocon's issues, we are going to be able to stick up with these guys and battle with them. But so far the car feels good in these tyres. I'm not going to lie, it's feeling much better than I expected, and Perez has already passed Esteban Ocon here, and we're going to be next up to get past a struggling Frenchman here. So let's try and pick him off tactically without losing too much time, because obviously we don't want to lose contact with this front pack, because otherwise we're going to go into a terrible tailspin of dropping through the field. So hopefully Ocon is not too hard to get by, and we can make the move fairly swiftly on the Force India man. So here we go. Getting a good run through this corner now, and he's definitely noticing he's got some issues. I think it might be gearbox related, that'd be my guess, because he's struggling to get some power out of some corners. But DRS is now enabled here, so we are going to open up the rear flap for the first time this race, pull to the inside and make the move on Esteban into the brake zone here, into the hairpin, shut the door and not allow him to switch back on me. And there we go, we're up into P6, so we've recovered our starter position. So now it's a question of, can we keep up with Sergio Perez here? This is going to be the guy we're going to be racing here today, so let's try and race him. Okay, so far the encouraging sign is Hamilton, who's just in front of Perez up the road, he's actually on medium tyres, so we're pretty similar pace to Hamilton on the same compound of tyres. That's very, very encouraging as Perez now goes for a move around the outside of the Englishman. So if that is the true pace of the medium tyre and Hamilton's right there, and that's a Mercedes, then we've got some good pace in this tyre, so I'm very encouraged by that. Right, we've got cars in the pit lane. Interestingly enough, Hamilton on their medium tyres has decided to come into the pit lane as well, so interesting strategy there from the Ferrari man. But we're now up into second place. My tyres still feel pretty good, so I want to keep on going. I've still got my eye on that one stop, so I want to try and go long in this stint, and that's why I'm trying to drive very smoothly and trying to keep my tyres in the window. So let's just keep concentrated here, but like I said, I've got my eye on the one stop. Okay, so Kimi Raikkonen is also coming to the pit lane off of the medium tyres. I'm still matching my personal best, so my pace is still very good. Ricciardo's going to stay out for one while out. Verstappen also just came in, so I'm definitely looking at this one stop. I really want this one stop now. Okay, so Sebastian Vettel has caught up to the back of me in that Ferrari. I was meant to pit that last lap, but I'm going to stay out for one more. I think I'm going to switch my strategy to going to mediums in the second stint instead of going to the hards, because I reckon I can make that work and still go softs at the end. The one stop is going to be impossible. My tyre wear, as I'll show you now, is a little bit too high for me to make it work. I need to get to lap 15, and I feel like I'm going to be pushing that too much, and I don't want my pace to just drop off the face of the earth. So what I'll do is I'm going to come in this lap for a fresh set of mediums, and that should hopefully allow me to still use softs at the end, or I might just do one more lap of mediums, but the goal is to basically not use the hard tyres. Okay, now we've got the other Ferrari of Kimi Raikkonen to contest with here, and he's going to have a massive run with DRS on me. He's on the medium tyres, so I think he's got the same strategy in mind as myself, but Raikkonen makes a move into P2, and we're going to drop down another place. But so far, I'm feeling pretty encouraged by our pace on this tyre. That's why I want to use it again in this second stint. So let's try and come into the pits at the end of this lap and see how things shape up after our pit stop. Alright, here we go then. We're going to come into the pit lane for our first of 2 stops this race, but instead of for the hard tyre, we're going to come in for the medium. So let's try and push the pit entry a little bit, try and be aggressive, and there we go. Very, very good entry there, just about getting it slowed down in time. Now we're going to go onto a fresh set of the medium tyres and try and have a nice good stint on those and push. Maybe pit around lap 26 and then see the rest of the race out on the soft compound tyres. So there go both of the Mercedes boys on the mediums. I believe all these guys are yet to run the hards, so we will have the tyre advantage at the end of the race. There's Ricciardo also on medium, so we've rejoined behind the Red Bulls, but that's not a major concern because I think we've got the better tyre strategy now. So we've got some clean air and we're in P8. We are in the race here today, and you can see in the minimap how many cars we were racing for position. So let's try and get a head down and try and make this a very, very good second stint. Right, 1 minute 21.5, a whole second faster than my last personal best. I feel really, really good on the track right now. The car feels fantastic, and we're definitely on the hunt. We're catching these 2 Red Bulls who are battling non-stop. Right, so a bit of a plot twist. I'm getting offered the change onto hard tyres. Also, I'm being advised to go onto hards. I'm under the impression that the hard tyre may be mandatory. I know some of you might be screaming into your screen right now saying it is, but I genuinely am not sure. I was going to go medium, medium, soft, but I'm getting a feeling that I might not be able to do that. So I really don't know at the moment. I don't know if I should take the risk or not. I mean, if I look at my tyres, as you can see, my softs are like not locked off, but they're dark, which means obviously I've got no fresh sets. But I'm pretty sure I had 1 fresh set left, so either I'm not allowed to use it, or that's a sign that I should really go on hard, because I just don't know at the moment. Do I take the risk and maybe get disqualified, or do I just come in for hards? I really don't know what to do now. Okay, so I just saw Perez in the pit lane, and I know he was on a soft medium stint. He's gone into another set of mediums, so that confirms that I pretty much can run the soft tyre at the end, because I think he's going to go to the end of that tyre, and that's a strategy that I'm going to do, but reversed. So we're going to come in a few laps time, around lap 26, and put on the soft compound tyre. Okay, Ricciardo in the pit lane. Both of the Red Bulls have now stopped, and if a safety car came now, that would be absolutely incredible. I mean, that would really set me up for the last stint of the race, but we've got a few more laps to go on this tyre first, and then we can go into that soft compound tyre. Here we go then, through the final chicane. We're going to come in for our final stop of the race onto the soft compound tyres, and hopefully it's a nice, quick, easy stop, no issues. We're going to get it also down for the entry, and there we go. So now let's see, we're going to probably rejoin behind the Red Bulls once again, but obviously the real question is, how much pace do we have on the soft tyres? I do admit they are scrubbed, they're not fresh, but hopefully they will still last the rest of the race. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be an exciting final stint. We've got to try and be really on the money. Every lap has to be perfect. They've got a rich mix saved up, so it's time to really unleash whatever pace this Williams has and see what we can do as we join in 7th place. The gap just isn't coming down fast enough for the Red Bulls. They are now battling, so that might help me out. That's what I needed, so hopefully they have many more battles. Well, I've now run out of rich mix, so we're going to have to draw a line in the sand here. I think this is where we're going to finish. I've tried my hardest, nothing I could do, P7, and yeah, we've got 2 more laps to go. I'll still keep pushing, but it's going to be very hard now. Yeah, I don't think nothing's going to happen now. I was hoping for like a safety car or VSC, anything, but nothing's going to happen now as we go into the last lap. I will say this, I should have been P8, but Bottas, I believe, had an issue, and he's actually behind Esteban Ocon, so Bottas is way down the order after having a car problem, and obviously Ocon had his car problems earlier on in the Grand Prix as well, but in terms of pace, I mean, the Red Bulls are just up the road. We're neck and neck with them. We just can't make any inroads because the pace in this car is good, but it's not great. Like, we still got a lot of work to do on the upgrade front, and we should have another upgrade coming for the next race. But I think that this season is just going to be a question of trying to really get the performance upgrades in the car, and then when I get the end of season bonus, I'll definitely put that towards durability and reliability. But for now, it's a question of trying to find instant results because we need to find more pace in this car. Right, here we go then, through the final corner, and looks like, unless there's a penalty, it's going to be P7, and across the line, and the Spanish Grand Prix is done. I'm quite happy with that, to be honest. I know video-wise it won't be a spectacular video, but and it even might even come across that was a pretty like poor race, and like the pace wasn't there, but I've got to be honest with you, that was one of the best races I've actually ever driven in terms of me satisfied with my performance, putting in very, very good laps every single lap, you know, putting in pure consistency and overall pace. That was definitely one of my better races that I've had in this career mode. So I'm very happy with that result, and the car felt brilliant in race trim, so I could really push it and have a good time. And P7 is about what I deserve. I thought that was a good race, and yeah, as you can see on the podium, Vettel wins once again. Is Vettel back? That's the real question. Is he back? That's 4 races he won this season out of the 5. Unbelievable from the German there. But we're now going to move into the race results, drivers and constructors standings. Right, so looking at the final race results, Sebastian Vettel wins and leads home a Ferrari 1-2 ahead of Kimi Raikkonen, with Sergio Perez rounding out the podium after starting from 5th place. Good result there for the Mexican ahead of Lewis Hamilton and Daniel Ricciardo there ahead of his team at Max Verstappen. And we come home in a sort of okay P7 after starting in 6th place. And then Esteban Ocon, he comes home in 8th place behind us. And then Hulkenberg and Bottas round out the points scoring positions. But further down in the driver standings, you can see that we jump up into 6th place, overtaking Valtteri Bottas. So getting ahead of one of the Mercedes cars there, pretty damn impressive, I think, on my behalf there. And Massa dropping a place to Max Verstappen down to P10. And Vettel leading the way, 17 points clear of Kimi Raikkonen. In terms of the constructors though, as you can see, we dropped down to P5. Red Bull overtake us by 2 points, and we're now the 5th best team on the grid, and that's about right in terms of our performance. So we need to find some upgrades, and we need to find them soon, and try and find some pace. But we're now going to jump into the laptop. Okay, so looking at the laptop real quick, you can see in the bottom right, we are still the 6th best team. Very close to Renault now, though, and hopefully we should be passing them very soon. But in terms of other departments for the R&D, as you can see in the progress history there, both ourselves and Renault bringing upgrades to this race. And Ferrari's up at the top, smaller than it has been in a little while, with the other 3 teams behind in close following. But in terms of planned upgrades that I have, if we look at the aero here, basically, for most of the season, I want to try and get this upgrade here, which is the major front wing. I want to try and get this one here, which is the major rear wing. And also this one here, which is for DRS, maximum slot gap. So with those 3, and also the one that's in process right now for this rear wing, I think that's going to be it for the aero this season. And that should give us a pretty damn good boost and get us up to at least between Mercedes and Force India. And then after that, we just want to focus on the chassis. Particularly, I want to try and get this upgrade here for the tyre wear, just to try and improve it a bit. But we still need a lot of resource points to get that, and unfortunately we are still number 2 driver, so until we improve, nothing much is going to change here. But if you guys did enjoy this episode of Career Mode, then please do smash the like button. Also subscribe if you're new around here for future F1 content, and also please be sure to check out these videos on screen right now, and also please be sure to check out GT Omega in the links down below in the description. Use the code TOM97 for 45% discount. But other than that, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Let's see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.